Hello again, everybody. Welcome back. And so in this video, we're going to be looking at Season 9, both Tower and the Keep maps. We're going to put together a defensive tutorial, kind of give you an idea of where not to place things, and also how the Garnet Guards are interacting and other demon soldiers that we are encountering here in the Forerunner server. And I'll also kind of give you a lay of the land, just to kind of get an idea of what people are playing around with right now here in this server. The first thing that I wanted to start out with in terms of GvG tutorials is that I've reorganized the GvG tips thread in my Discord. The link is in the description section of this video. So as you can see here, I pretty much now put the defense building into its own little kind of thread, kind of give you an idea of how it is that you go about picking heroes and make sure that you fortify your formation, right? So the most important thing that I encourage everybody to start out with is defender and then your healer. Of course, if you're not going to bring in a healer in your formation, then you pretty much just scrap that out, and then you form around everything around your true defender. So that's essentially some of the stuff here. Then I also have my Demon Soldier affiliation guide here. I do still have my previously posted video on this, but I am working on a big upgrade, and that announcement will be coming soon. So look out for that video when it does come out. Also, there is one where I specifically talk about builds for each type of unit, what sets we're using for those heroes, where do you want to use Cataclysm, where do you want to use certain artifacts, etc., etc., just to at least give a little bit of a boost to the hero, and then of course your composition. And for those of you that are actually in here, you probably already saw beforehand that I had put a little bit of diagrams together to kind of give you an indication that where you put your defender, it can then pretty much give you an idea as to where to lay out your platform and ground units, and where are the danger spots, essentially is what it turns out to be. So there was the tower, and this is the keep here. So this is essentially what we're going to be going over, kind of giving you an idea of how to put these defenses together. Let's start out with the keep. So I'm going to put my defender at the first point of interaction that can occur here in this map. So we're going to place him right here in this tile here. Now everything in accordance to this then would be these two tiles then essentially become dead tiles. I wouldn't use them. You want to try to get tricky with Ingrid here, you can try, but rest assured that the first thing you're probably going to see is people are going to try to bomb you, or they're going to try to bait ultimates from these units here just to get Ingrid out of the way. It's not advisable to do that, okay? So some of the setups that I've been seeing here have to do with placing this unit, a platform unit here, if you want to try that. But you have to make sure that the unit is tanky or is well protected against the Garnet Guards, because as soon as they come through this point here, they will target an aura in this example here. So there are different formations that I've seen. So one of them would be, placing a unit up here. You can try to place your healer back here. And of course, if you want to try to put a platform unit, you can here. There are some situations where I have seen, attackers, if you want fighters, especially at something like Emirate, they like to put them down here if they want to. But most of the situations, most of the instances that we've seen is trying to put a formation up here that looks like this. That's essentially what it's coming down to. I would not rely on a fighter in this platform unless you can tank him up. If you do, you're given the opportunity for the Bookkeepers to target it, snipe you out, makes it easy for destroyers also. If you do not have the proper support here in the back to take that unit out, it's not advisable. Maybe a second tank if you think that these two will provide enough firepower in order to do that. If we go all the way here, if we put them on this tile here, then you pretty much are eliminating all these platform units here. The Garnet Guards can then target this unit here, and you're pretty much relying on anything here to defend this, and putting maybe like an emirate here and then some other unit down here, or some other platform that can extend out to this. But yeah, it would be a little bit harder to put something together here. There is an instant here where you can try to, if you wanted to make something put together with, let's say we put our healer back here, and if you have somebody like Beelzebub, because they can extend out. But this is another kind of situation that I've seen being played out in certain defenses. It does make it easy to pick apart if you don't have a lot of ZC, because people will just try to bomb you if at all possible if you don't have enough protection back here for this unit here. So that's definitely another opportunity you can take out and then put like a defender here to kind of double trap if you want to, and then collect this as well. The one type of defense that I'm seeing a lot, especially for those of you that have Lady Alexandras, to set something like this up. And I'm seeing a lot of instances where Iobar, Lady Alexandra are being placed into these platform units here. Place another tank unit or a fighter type unit here to give a chance for this to pick them off. And then, of course, the healer back here. Or I'm seeing a lot of formations where eye is being used. So, you know, pretty much laying out eye straps and giving Iobar up here in Lady A up here, Iobar down here. Just an opportunity for them to snipe things out as they're coming here around the corner and you're trying to get past the tank. So that's another way to look at that if you wanted to set something up for the piercers. Again, the piercers, I only advise them in high level Overlord if you have Lady Alexandra. For those of you in Plat 3 and Plat 2, you can definitely make something work of it. If you have Iovar and, you know, somebody like, if you want to try a Silas or something like that, if you're going against Demon Surges at level 2, 3, 4, it's essentially what's coming down to. And I know that some of you do swear by it because it's working for you. So I do acknowledge that. Okay. The other type of formation that you can try to do is put in here the defender with the fighter up here, and then put in this unit here. And this is a classic formation that we're seeing these days, especially because we can put the healer back here. Now, as you saw from the illustrations that I have shown you previously, try to avoid this style here. I know that some of you are going to say, I'm going to tank up my Lily or my Esren or my Carnelian. If you encounter powerful archers, they will snipe out this unit here. So I would avoid it if at all possible. That's why you saw me put my healer back here to extend out over to this. This here, this position is working out very well. Now, for those of you wondering about what the Garnet Guards are doing, it is really, really, really confusing about the coding of these things. Arturo swears that they're going in the counterclockwise, or they're going the clockwise direction. Is essentially what it is. They scan the field, and whoever are on that clock, it targets them. They see that's who they're going to target. Let me show you this clip here to illustrate what I'm trying to say. So this is the clip that I collected with this classic formation here. So right now the Garnet Guards are targeting the skeletons, are targeting Cyrus. That's fine. All right. But here's the first point of interaction. So you see that the Garnet Guards are getting into the range of Panora, but for some reason they avoid her. Okay, it's not in whatever the scanning mechanism is of their AI. They're not. Guess who they're targeting? Is this platform unit right here. That's their first point of interaction. And so after that, they're engaged with the tank. They completely ignore Anora. And so that is one of the interactions that we saw. So essentially what became was, if we're going to see those Garnet Guards, we got to make sure that we take them out before they even get into that range of the platform. So strong fighter, and if Anora is up there for this example here, or if you decide to put in something like a Pradius in another type of defense, you have to make sure that that unit's able to take those Garnet Guards off before they even get a chance to target this platform unit here. Now let me fast forward a little bit, because then what I did is that I took Boreas out, okay? And so now I'm only going to have a Nora there as the only platform unit, and then let's assume that everything else is ground here. So here come the Garnet Guards, and again, they're going into the scanning mechanism here. I kind of led credence to Arturo's stat that this thing might be going clockwise. So in this instance here, because there's no other platform units around, they finally said, oh, hey, guess what? Anora is there. So I'm going to target her. And that's exactly what happened there in that example. So just keep in mind that this is exactly how the AI of the Garnet Guards are working. So build your defenses around that. Take advantage of it. Okay. So then the last thing that I wanted to, in terms of formations, is that there is possibilities here where you can put a defense together if you want to. Again, it makes this tile here, Garnet Guard, accessible, but you can try if you want to, and then try to put some type of fighter here. That is one of the type of formations that I'm seeing, especially if you have a healer that can reach all the way here to this platform here. Now, the only other thing here is that you're probably going to have to try to see if you can have some type of platform unit that can extend out a little, or another fighter or something else that can disrupt the progress of the demons soldiers as they come here. Bishop Bob could be a perfect example for that here if you wanted to do that, just to, you know, put something together to kind of get brainstorm ideas. You can move this tank up one if you want. You just got to make sure that you have, you know, some type of leverage here from this unit here. So as soon as they get into that range, maybe this will trigger. Then you can move this platform, this fighter up one. You also have the ability then to possibly play somebody like Ingrid here if you wanted to. If you want to put a watch guard or arborer team together, that is another possibility, but it pretty much restricts what other platform unit you can use, or what type of other fighter you can use. So my idea here would be somebody like Emret, put him here, this fighter here, and then you have your platform, and then some type of healer in that range as well. So something like that is where you can possibly put together things. The thing with the platform in this area, though, is that it's a little bit difficult to place together, given that we're pretty much 2 tiles removed from this unit, from the defender here in the spot. So we're gonna have to make sure it's a healer that can extend out it. And again, if you decide to use this platform here, you have to make sure that those archers do not get you. That's essentially what it comes down to. If you wanted to move this back a little bit, I will take you around just to kind of give you an idea of what other players are thinking. But most of the engagement points that we're seeing right now is either here at this point here, or here at this point here, in terms of putting that defense together. Early on, as we saw formations like this. Now the danger here is twofold. So number one, this platform here becomes useless. You can't use that because it's right next to the defender, so don't give him any shot at that. You could try doing something like this, but what's going to happen if the bookkeepers come down here? And so let me save this. Let's actually put it into play. And so one of the things that is going to happen if we do something like this is that we're going to give the opportunity to the bookkeepers to have some fun. Now, I didn't check my affiliation, so this may not go as I planned, but essentially what it is that they will see the fighter, and that's who they're going to target. So when they target that fighter, consequence to it is that also the platform right adjacent to them is going to get targeted. So as you saw, bam, right away. The essence is burned, one more shot. They could be, if that essence does not save them, then again, you're done, right? If you don't have a Carnelian to help you with that, it's just cooked. This difference is there, is cooked. So essentially what's coming down to is that any defender or fighter that you put into this ground tiles here, you pretty much eliminate the platform unit right next to them, unless you think you can save them with a carnelian or anything like that. So for example, if we place Torador here, this platform is out, right? Bookkeepers are going to target him and it's going to snap back to that platform. If you place anybody back here, same thing. Bookkeepers are going to target it. This platform then becomes vulnerable. So be careful with that. This is why a lot of the setups that we're seeing have this separation, right? Because if you want to make sure that your platform unit survives, then the bookkeepers will focus on the defender up here, and then the splash damage will only go to these two platform units here. So that's essentially the type of formations that we're seeing for the keep in terms of making this area here the engagement point. So here is one example that I can give you of kind of a layout that people are utilizing, especially if they have Lady Alexandra. But the commonality is there in terms of the positioning that they're using in terms of trying to defend this tower. So here, again, platform unit here to engage here, protect here. We have a fighter, somebody is protecting the rush. We have the healer back here. And then, of course, in this example here is Lady Alexandra taking this point here. Now, because we already placed the platform unit here, we know that this is not going to be Garnet Guard food. So we can take advantage of that. Again, same type of sense in terms of setting up a composition like this one here. We have Emerald on the back, Warriors backing it up. And then we have Anora up here. So that's kind of the type of the ideology that some of the players, especially they have the units, are taking into account in how this keep map allows them or affords them the opportunity to lay out a defense. Here is another representative example. So you can see here that they laid out the defender on the second point here. We have the platform unit up here backing it up. There's the healer. And we have somebody like Imrit, right? He has a long range, lots of CC, and they have somebody like Bizzlebob here boosting him. Because he has that long range, he can start slowing things down. And so essentially what it is here is that one of the things is that he's hoping that there's enough protection here, slow them down, disturb their interaction, make sure that the Garnet Guards don't get to parries. That's essentially what's coming down here. So that's essentially another type of setup that people are thinking when they are trying to put defense together in this map. So here's a representative idea of what a nightmare composition might look like. Yes, expect this to be a very tanky C1 con, but you have somebody being backed up like an Emirate here. Arrogance would probably be really hard to use given that there's two tile extension here that we have to take care of. They place Hatsu right here, and then of course the healer back here. So again, Emirate just opens things up to a lot of formations. And let's go ahead and finish up with the tower now. So now we're going to go into the tower. Now in this setup here, there is really only one point of engagement that people are really utilizing, and that is this part here. So I'm going to start on the back and tell you why it's a little bit tougher to put a good defense together in this portion of the map here. So as you can see here, we have these foreground tiles here, and then we have the platform units laying around. So if we put our trusty defender in this position here, essentially what we're limited to now are these platform units right adjacent, beside him, right, or around him. So these are the only ones that we're going to use. We have seen some situations where they prefer to place an Ingrid back here. But again, if you're going to encounter very, very strong bookkeepers, she's just going to get sniped out of the map. So that wouldn't be the case. Of course, if, trying to put a healer back here is a little bit difficult depending on which healer you're utilizing. And if you place them in this platform, this is a dead tile. There is no protection around it, so you can easily just send Garnet Guards, archers, just to snipe them out. Now you don't have a healer. That's the unfortunate part. You also then have these 3 ground tiles here that you can put together. There are limited heroes that you can use here that have that extended range, and it's not all linear. So if you have an Emirate, yeah, you can play around it, try to put something together here, but you're going to need, this area here is essentially a 3 ground, 2 platform type setup. Now, if you do decide to put a fighter here, you got to make sure that that fighter is tanky, because as soon as the bookkeepers turn this way, their first point of engagement is going to be that fighter. So let me go ahead and set that up, and we are going to send them out. Again, this is all on the targeting AI and how things behave. So as soon as they're in range, you're going to see them focus on the fighter. And then now the fighter is gone. So you have to make sure that that unit is tanky if you want to play any type of unit here. That's why I would focus more on the back here, if that is the way that you want to go. All right. So be careful on how you place your units if you're going to go up here on the back of this map. All right, so now let's work on the bottom. So there are 3 points of engagement here for the tanks. If you want to try to put a tank here, there are some possibilities here that you can utilize if you want in terms of trying to get to stopgap things. So watch guard or arbor, this is another where you're going to see Ingrid up here with some type of long range fighter in here. That is one possible formation that you can try to do. The only caveat to this is you got to make sure that you have a healer that can protect. That would be one, right? So do not try to place anything here. Bookkeepers can snipe this off. Garnet Guards can snipe this off. It would make it really difficult. If you do place a unit, platform unit here, they do become targetable by archers or Garnet Guards. So you got to be careful with that as well. But you can, there are definitely situations here you can place it. Now, Cornelian can be utilized because she will orb this unit and then practically it'll extend out to this one. But it takes time, so you have to compensate for that. Let's pretend that Nora is Ingrid, so you just put everything back here. You can try, you know, if you wanted to, you can possibly put some type of fighter here like Ares if you wanted to, you know, and then Imret in this position to try to slow things down. Trust that your healer can hold up in this position here. Again, the only caveat is that once you get lightning guards past the Ingrid range and there's nothing else to slow it down here, they'll just truck through and snipe you out. So if you're going to put something together here, you got to make sure that you can kind of protect the flyers against the flyers, so you do not get sniped off the map and then your defense just falls apart. So that would be the only danger in that, in putting something together that far back. If you do decide to put your first defender here, now this platform unit here will not become targetable to Garnet Guards until they come all the way down here. Then they'll start focusing there if there is no platform unit here or here. It's essentially what's coming down to. That's why people are using this platform a lot. And I'll take you around and kind of give you an idea as to why they're doing it. So, and then if you're going to put a fighter here, just make sure that it's tanky so it doesn't get sniped off by Bookkeepers. But again, I wouldn't, if I were to place a defender here, I'm pretty much restricting myself to these platforms here and then possibly something up here. Again, really difficult to put something together. The more common positions that we're seeing is this one right here, right? Your defender right at the first tile of engagement. And then now we have our platform units around, depending on who you're bringing in or what marksman you're bringing in. You're placing them all the way back here, or you are placing them down here, okay? The other thing though to keep in mind is that if we do place a platform unit here, we have to protect them against the Garnet Guard, because the Garnet Guard will target this platform as soon as they get into range. That's their first point of attack. So make sure that you have a way to protect them before they come down here and interact with these two other units. So that's kind of how things are playing out. So the Garnet Guards will not target this platform here. So people are taking advantage of this, especially if the defender is down here. Their first interaction is going to be this platform unit. So they'll focus away from that one. Or in some instances, yes, they will focus on this unit here. But as they're trekking down, if you have enough CC, if you have enough time to disrupt them with the fighter or the mage or the marksman here, enough time to distract them and bring them down, they're gonna have a hard time sniping you out here. But if you give them enough of an opportunity to come in closer to the tank, yeah, eventually they will target this way. But this platform here, as soon as they get into this area here, they will target her. So we've seen that previously. So let me show you that in action so you can get an idea. So I reposition things here, and then what I'm gonna have Cyrus do is face the back, so you can kind of see they targeted Anora right away. Now I'm gonna have the Garnet Guards come really close to the tank here, and as you can see, they're targeting Anora. That's the target point. Warriors never got a rock targeted at him, so that's essentially how that targeting mechanism works there, and that's why people are taking advantage of this platform here. Now, if you back up the defender 1, yes, they will target that platform, given how their AI is working in this map. I'm gonna give you an idea of how things are being laid out here. So this is one of the nightmare compositions that you can kind of put together here, especially with the standard 3 fighter formation, 3 ground unit formation with somebody backing them out here. So that's kind of an idea that you can put together if you want. Here's another one. We're utilizing the platform. We're taking this to our advantage here. And then in this situation here, we have the healer with the ground unit here, just to make sure that we can try to combat the swarm. We have Pradius here. Again, preferring this platform over this one because the Garnet Guards will come over here. In this one, the Garnet Guards have to present themselves both to Pelagius and Ardea to make to interact before they can get the rocks off on Pradius. So that's kind of the setup, another type of setup that you can kind of take into account if you're trying to put defense together. So again, standard stuff. These are the standard formations that we're seeing. People are just picking the bottom here because it's a lot easier to put defenses together. You can use somebody like Ajax now. He's long range. You can start covering things right away. Pradius, the fighter, and then the healer back here. All right. This is an example of people utilizing the back of the map given the units that they have. So for this example here, essentially what they did is that they went no healer. So what they're hoping to do is that they're trying to slow you enough with laying out her icicles, with make Iobar, just sniping things off as they're coming to him. Lady A just picking off things on the map, getting boosted by Daochan. So essentially, they're making you try to think as how to beat this defense. If you're gonna come at them through the air, good luck, right? You're gonna get sniped off, but you're gonna have to come through the ground. It's just trying to then pick the right units and the sequence to then bring this down. But that's essentially what they're hoping for, is that you're trying to get through icicles at the same time having to deal with Lady's Ace, Winter's Bite, and then Iobar sniping you out. So if we are seeing anything on the back here, is all piercer type, especially led by Lady Alexander. All right, folks, that'll do it for this video. I hope that this tutorial kind of helps you a little bit in terms of how to lay things out, where to expect things to work, where not to expect things to work. The danger spots, as always, that is something that I try to highlight to make sure that you do not give your opponent an easy win. Aside from that, just try to take advantage of the interactions of the demon soldiers, how they're targeting, are working in this map, and then of course pick the points that allow to strengthen your defense a little bit more so you can have a better opportunity of picking up a win or two, hopefully. So hopefully this again helps you out. Again, if you have any questions, my first point of direction would be the Discord. I'm gonna try to update that as much as I can. I will try to lay out defenses that I see that are really holding up strong, and it all depends on whether you can put it all together with your gear and your awakenings. And I will keep updating that thread as the season progresses. And then of course the comment section of this video, if you have any questions, please post them below and I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you all very much for tuning and watching. I will see you all in the next video.